As LeBron James moves closer towards his quest to manipulate the NBA to allow him to play with his son Bronny, we have to remind ourselves that this has happened before. Well, at least not in the NBA. Gordie Howe played alongside both his sons with the Hartford Whalers. But the story of Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. isn't just about a father and son that played Major League Baseball together. It's a beautiful tale about a father who made a huge sacrifice, and it absolutely was the right one. This is the greatest father-son story in all of sports. The father. Ken Griffey Sr. was born in Donora, Pennsylvania in 1950. His father, Buddy, left the family when he was 2 years old, leaving Ken's mother, Ruth, to raise him and his 5 siblings. Buddy himself was an outstanding athlete and was high school teammates with Stan Musial at Donora High. Despite his father never playing catch with him or imparting any of his athletic wisdom, Ken excelled in sports and was outstanding in basketball, football, track, and baseball. In fact, baseball is the sport that he thought he was least likely to go pro in. But in 1969, Griffey, a senior in high school, found out that his then girlfriend and future wife was pregnant. Instead of going to college, the 19-year-old Griffey would be drafted late and would sign with the Cincinnati Reds. And the journey of his career and his life was underway. The son, Ken Griffey Jr., was also born in Donora, Pennsylvania, the first child of Ken and Valerie Griffey. But in 1969, Jr. had a much different upbringing than his father. As a youth, he was constantly around major league clubhouses, and his father, though strict and on the road often, took an active and influential presence in his life. Ken Sr. also gave wisdom to Jr., telling him a team's accomplishments were more important than that of the individual, and to not be flashy. As a youth, Jr. was also an outstanding athlete. At Archbishop Moeller High in Ohio, he excelled in football and baseball and received scholarship offers from Oklahoma and Michigan to play wide receiver. Fate would not allow Jr. to explore those options. Griffey would be drafted as the #1 overall selection of the 1987 MLB draft by the Seattle Mariners, and the 19-year-old would begin playing organized ball 9 days later. If you just looked at the kid, this guy was a baseball player. There was no need to waste any time. But as you will see, both Jr. and Sr. had wildly different paths to the big leagues, and they would converge in a wild set of events. The path of the father. Ken Griffey Sr. didn't exactly have a straight line journey to MLB. Drafted based primarily on his speed, Griffey would toil in the minors for 4 seasons, steadily increasing his production, raising his batting average, and ultimately being promoted to the bigs in 1973. Griffey saw immediate success both individually and from a team standpoint. He doubled in his first big league game. He played in the postseason that year and batted .384 as a late year call-up. He spent 1974 going up and down between AAA Indy and the Reds, but by 1975 he was a regular on one of the greatest teams in sports history, the Big Red Machine. The speedy outfielder changed the dynamic of the team, and his presence was instrumental in the squad winning the World Series that year. Unfortunately for Griffey, the team's success came at a sacrifice of his individual wants. Batting second in front of Joe Morgan, Sr. was asked to no longer steal bases. Though he knew he had burners and liked to swipe them, he didn't complain. 1976 was the best year of Griffey's career. He batted .336 and narrowly missed a batting title on the last day of the season. The individual accomplishment aside, the Reds won the World Series again, and Griffey was now a 2-time champion. Sr. would eventually be traded to the Yankees in 1982, but would never reach the All-Star status again like he did 3 times with the Reds. The first time around, always solid, Griffey hit for average and a little pop. His career high in home runs for a season was 21 in 1986. By 1987, when Jr. was drafted, Sr. was in his 17th season, declining but still productive. Ken had returned to the Reds. It was clear his best days were behind him. But in 1990, everything would change. The kid.
25 years from now, you're going to want to say, I was there when Ken Griffey Jr. made his home debut. So don't forget that on Monday night. There's a drive into the gap in left center field and deep left center field, and Henderson's not going to get to it. It's off the base of the wall.
2 years after he was drafted, Ken Griffey Jr. took the big stage and was an instant star. Just like his dad, he hit a double in his big league debut in 1989, except it was his very first at bat. But unlike his dad, the kid had it all. Speed, power, average, defense, an absolute hose of an arm, and one of the sweetest, if not the most fluid left-handed swings of all time. So pretty. His rookie year of 1989, he played 127 games, hit 16 dingers, batted .264, and quickly became the most popular player in the league. By 1990, he was on his way, batting over 300 with 22 home runs, sensational plays. The kid was an all-star, a Gold Glover, and an MVP candidate. But something was missing: the sacrifice. While Junior's career was spinning up, Ken Sr.'s career was winding down. He had come back to the Reds and was a role player on the team, a fifth outfielder among a talented roster. The 1990 Reds were a revelation. The Nasty Boys, Barry Larkin, Eric Davis, and a middling Ken Griffey Sr. In 46 games, he was batting .206 and only hit 1 home run. Despite the team's success, you could tell he was miserable. And so, maybe as both a smart roster move and a gesture of good faith, the Reds released Griffey, though it was probably more of a request. His veteran experience could have really helped the young team. Griffey was instantly signed by the Mariners. He gave up another shot at a championship to do something that had never been done before: be the first father-son duo in Major League history to play on the same team.
Junior's a bit taller than Dad. In his 18th Major League season, Griffey Sr., a career .296 hitter. And a base hit in his first time up as a Mariner. This is history. Second youngest all-star starter ever. And he has a base hit. Back-to-back singles by Griffey and Griffey.
The Griffeys, 19 years apart, were electric. Not just a novelty. Senior ended up batting .377 in his 21-game late-season stint with the Mariners. Junior was Junior. The two looked like they were having so much fun. It was every father and son's dream. We all got to witness it. It was infectious. They were on talk shows, Sports Center. Despite the Mariners being a fifth-place team, they were the most anticipated draw in the league. And all that fun, healthy male bonding, and father-son energy led to this amazing moment.
Well, he's helping it inch back up there now.
Well hit to center field. Devon White going back. Gone! A 2-run home run.
And he can still hit anybody's fastball.
And he hits one well to left center field. Dante Bichette. Back-to-back home runs.
What else can these guys do?
Without Ken Sr., the 1990 Cincinnati Reds would go on to win the World Series. He would retire the next year, squeezing out 30 more games with his son. Junior would hit 630 career home runs, become a 12-time All-Star and an MVP, but unfortunately never won a championship. However, I bet if you asked him, playing alongside his dad was worth it. But for Ken Sr., it's these type of things that make a man, a father, and influence lives positively. We all make sacrifices. It's important that we make the right ones. And for all of his hard work, this is the type of man that Ken Sr. raised.
I waited till last to talk about Jay. Of all people that I would consider my brother from another mother, a guy who listens to country music, wears cowboy boots, big belt buckle. I got 17 speakers in a car, sweatsuits, rap music. Two people that are so far apart on every level, but there is no other person in this world other than my parents that if something ever happened to me or my wife, that I would want to raise my kids.